Hi everybody, all my followers, be welcome to another video. The video today on this 2012 F20, I think it's F20, BMW 1 Series with this particular model is the 116i. I think this is the 2-liter petrol, if I'm not mistaken. Not very different than the last one we just did. The complaint with this thing is that the car randomly throws different faults. I've seen some of those faults for steering, and I've seen some other faults. Now, I don't know if this is related. One interesting thing was just before I parked the car here myself, because the guy just dropped it and left it there. He left it running because I was outside. I said, just leave it there. I'll put it in there. And when I dropped the car here, I moved the car into the gravel. And just before I shut the car down, I've seen all those faults on the dash, and I've looked to the interior lights because it was quite noticeable, and the lights were kind of dimming and they were kind of pulsing, if that makes sense. And I turned the car off, and as soon as I turned the car off, the car was dead. And I mean dead, as if the battery is not even there. I think there is a battery there, but the car just went dead. Wouldn't turn any lights on, nothing. So I think that flickering was because the car was literally running on the alternator power or voltage, and that the battery is completely dead. So I do have a battery for this. I might gonna have to power the front of the car underneath the bonnet to try to open the boot, because the boot is electric. Otherwise I might have to try to get into the boot somehow and open the boot to obviously get to the battery. So let's gonna get that done. Let's put the battery, and then we'll see what the car does. And about a week later, we are actually back into this. I know it looks like it's just the next clip, just the same day, but now it's about a week later. So we're gonna connect there. So plus to plus. Let's see what happens when I give it power. Okay, nothing really happened. All I want to do is open the boot. And that's it. Let me see if the boot opens. Yes, it did. Right, that's all I want. So now I can disconnect the battery again. Okay. And now it's gonna see what the heck's going on here. It goes, so definitely there is a battery here. Okay. This here. What is this thing here? Oh, it comes to here, okay. Right. Let's try to figure out what's going on. And I think I might just put the new battery in, and then we'll see what happens. Suspicions confirmed. The battery has, this is bad, 2 volts, literally 2 volts. Even my test light doesn't light up. So obviously it's a 12 volts bulb. So yeah, battery is definitely dead. The new battery is in place. We're gonna have to program this battery, because this battery is a little bit more powerful than that one. And just when I was doing the positive terminal, I've seen this. I'm not sure what happened there, but it looks like something has been touching here. I've measured just in case the fuse, this sort of fuse here for the positive terminal. I've checked, voltage is coming to the 2 big points here, so that's fine. And what's this? I think this is to hold that thing in there, maybe. Right, so it's gonna get to the front and see what the car does. Actually, I'm not gonna even stop. And let me just take this off. And let me see, do we have anything alive now? Yes, we do. We do have the BMW in there, at least. When I open, that's fine. Right, clutch. Let's gonna try to start this thing. Ooh. Okay. Okay, so when I press the start, it just disappears. Okay, so it doesn't crank. Brake system. It sounds like a bad ground somewhere. What the heck's going on with this? So, right. Okay, let me think. So that -40 is straight away a problem. Flat monitor system, whatever. Oh man, what the heck's going on? Right, let's start with the basics. So I checked things like connections underneath here. Yes, they are a little bit not brilliant, but they're not too bad. Back there is okay, looks fine to me. At least there's some connections underneath here as well. I think, actually, let me actually take this off. What I was about to say. Okay, so, okay, so there's one point, but this is just this makes no connection anywhere. It's just a point to here. Everything else is there, looks pretty good, doesn't look too bad. We have some big, what's this here, for relays, I think, maybe. Okay, the fact that the engine tries to crank and then doesn't leads me to think we might do have a ground issue. Now, to prove my point, so fuses, I check all the fuses are fine. So to prove my point, we're going to do something here. Now to start with, I did check the ground as it goes into the chassis, and it looks absolutely perfect underneath there, so I already checked. So I could have used the black cable, but what we're doing, I'm putting a ground straight into the engine, okay? And now we're going to see if it cranks. So I'm sure it's going to be a strap somewhere, a ground strap somewhere between the chassis and the engine block, somewhere underneath. I just need to get this thing running. So, key on. Let's see what happens. Nope. Same thing. Okay. It doesn't even try to crank. Okay. So now I'm not really sure. Do we have a bad starter motor? But they started somehow. That's strange. So this explains the problem. Even though this battery is a brand new battery, dropped here about a week ago when I initially started to record this, the battery is only reading 8.3 volts. So yeah, this explains everything. Even though it's a brand new battery, it is a little bit discharged. So we're gonna bring the charger, plug it in, leave it for about 20 minutes or so. That should be, with my charger, 30 amps, that should be more than enough to put some juice, enough to start the car. And then hopefully we'll start to do something. Battery fully charged, is pulling pretty much nothing. So let's gonna see if now we can start this thing. Let me just make sure we do have I've just turned it off, 13.4, which is fine. Right. Will it start now? There is no reason why not. Okay. There we go. Up and running. So that -40, it is a problem, because that will make the car. Speed limit failure. Okay, I'm not really sure. Speed limit failure. Yeah, we do have speed limit. Okay, we'll have a look at that later. Okay, so it actually runs pretty good. Well, it runs okay. There's no funny noises, there's no... Yeah, it runs pretty good. It's not okay there. It's supposed to be there. Yeah, it runs pretty well. No concerns. So now, let's gonna move this to the front of the garage and give you a scan and see if there's anything we need to do apart from try to figure out what that speed limit failure is and go from there. Right, so scan, and there is obviously plenty of faults for all tastes and preferences. A lot of stuff, obviously, it is intermittent faults, which we're not going to bother with too much. But you see, car access system, one of the faults that we have here is multifunction steering wheel missing lean slave. So that makes sense why we have that limit fault, because that probably not working. We're gonna have to test. I haven't tested these buttons yet, but I'll do in a minute. And the voltage 8.5 volts. Anyway, all of this is intermittent. Then we have here total discharge. Sorry guys, I got interrupted, but so battery management, total discharge, we know about that. Deactivation of terminal 15, startability limit reached, not really sure. Some of these faults, they might show permanent when they are not. Remote control, low battery, you've seen the warning already. Then under engine control module, we have outside temperature sensor, so the -40, we're gonna fix that. And anything else permanent? No. And then ICM, instrument panel, ambient temperature, so same fault. Cruise control operation, not current. Receiver ICM, okay, so same thing for the lean burst that we've seen earlier. Under voltage, over voltage, Jesus Christ. Outside temperature, same fault. Central fault memory full, not to worry about that at all. Outside temperature, then on the seek, no fault, no permanent faults, I would say. Windows not normalized, not worried. Outputs exceed approved number of short circuits. One or several outputs have exceeded the proven number of short circuit cycles. Ooh, that's no good. Okay, so now that we have all of this, you know exactly what we're going to do. We're going to clear all the DTCs on the car. Actually, let me turn the ignition on. We're going to clear all the faults and then start to fix this. One of the things I'll say. Yeah, we'll have to fix that temperature, remote control, blah 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 blah. Okay. And after clear the codes, only one code came back. I'm sure the temperature will come back again as soon as we start the cycle, or in a little bit. But straight after, only one came back straight away, which is the multifunction steering wheel missing lean slave. So let's gonna see if the buttons are working and see if we start to figure out what's going on with this. There we go. So car is running, and as you can see, nothing works here on the steering. Volume doesn't work, no buttons work whatsoever. Okay, and obviously these buttons, these ones are the only ones that actually report a fault, because obviously the module most likely wants to see the communications with this. These is probably just straight to the radio. Don't know why it doesn't show a fault, but so if we do go, maybe if I go to data stream, that's no good here. So no, that doesn't matter. So radio volume, so if I turn, okay, so if I turn here it changes. Okay, so if I do it here, nothing happens, but this is not what I want. Hold on, SZL, there we go. Select all. Okay, so ACC, horn. Okay, I could left switch, right switch. I think there's no point. Shift paddles, there's no shift paddles. So that's, I think, where it should show something here, and it doesn't. Okay, so right, what we're gonna do with this? We are going to, you all know what we're gonna do. And just before we start, looks like someone got hungry at this steering wheel. Look at that, what the heck. And it's on both sides. I think it's there where you actually push to remove the airbag, so both sides they have a massive hole in there. Look at that. Someone got angry at this and just thought one way or another he's gonna come out. Oh dear. Just one quick thing just before we start to think is a clock spring issue, which it might be, is that the horn actually works. I don't know if you can hear it. So that works, which means it could still be a clock spring issue, or it could be something else. Now I'm even more suspicious because the airbag is not there. The airbag doesn't come out in these holes. The airbag comes off here at the back. There's two springs here. You just push them in, then there, and it pops out. So I'm not really sure why the steering has two holes here on the side. I'm not really sure. Anyway, so what? Whatty? That makes sense. This is not connected. Why is this supposed to connect? Wow, look, there's no wires at all connecting the buttons. Look, you see? So it comes from there all the way to there, and then there's nothing. I just have, what do I have? I have two. What the heck's going on? Oh, this plug is broken for the airbag. Let me unplug the airbag. Okay, so this plug is broken. Someone has been here, obviously. So something, what the heck's going on here? So this is right. So this is plugged in there, but there is no pins on this clock spring. Not really sure. Shut up. So this is plugged in there, but as you can see in there, there is no pins in there. Then if you can see, there is no pins in there. So what this is for? 2 wires for the horn, airbag. Unless this is supposed to plug in here somewhere. Oh yes, it is. Someone plugged in that in there. It's supposed to plug in here somewhere. I think it's underneath here. So someone has been here. Let's see if I can pull this out, maybe to plug it in, because I think it's on this side that plugs in. So I pull this out. To pull this out, guys, all you need to do, I didn't pull the whole thing, I just pull this side. There is right here at the back, there is a hole in there. Where is it? Right there. Okay, with a Torx screw, and then you just pull it out, and that right there is where this is supposed to plug. Right there, you see? So now, theoretically, we should have, well, oops, we're gonna have, let me lock the steering. We're gonna have an airbag light, but that's not a problem. That's no problem. So we're gonna have an airbag, but no worries about that. Let me just see now. Okay, driver, so yeah, that's fine. We still have the outside temperature, obviously. Let me just see if we do have. Oh, look at that! Boom! Look, limit, beautiful. And obviously my radio now should also work. Yeah, let me take that out of there. So if I press mode, there we go. Beautiful. All working. Volume. Yeah, it's working. So if I turn this down. So what else? So mode. Yeah, looks like it's good. There we go.
One more song.
There we go. So it is working. So let's gonna put it all back together and then focus on the next issue, which looks like the only other issue is the outside temperature. So all of this is sorted, all back together, everything is working spot on. And now for the outside temperature sensor, I think I found the issue. So the temperature sensor lives right here. Let me show you. It's right here underneath in that hole in there. That's where it lives. I already pulled it out by taking this cover. That cover is already missing. There's an absolutely mess around here. Gonna have to tell the guy to try to get another cover. But yeah, I pulled this one out, and looks like someone in the past just soldered this straight into the sensor. I think the sensor is broken. The plug was broken, and someone just soldered this straight into the sensor like this, and obviously over time these just failed. So there we go, look at that, already broke. Okay, so there we go. So requires a new sensor and most likely a new plug, but that's not going to be for today. Most likely, one, I doubt I have any of these sensors, and second, I don't even have the plug, but we'll get it fixed. And I think, from what I was told, this is the only issues. So all the issues for the steering that I've seen, and all the other weird faults, I'm pretty sure was all down to the battery. The car keeps coming up with a battery discharge. I haven't programmed the battery yet, so we're gonna have to do that just to make sure if the battery is programmable. We're gonna have a look, and that's it. So nearly done. Nothing special on this video by the looks of it. Just two little things that I'll make sure I will capture either on the thumbnail or on the description of the video or title. So if you guys are having one of these issues, you know where to look for. Especially the one for the steering. That is, anyone can do it. But yeah, let's gonna see if we can fix this to obviously wrap up this thing. Unless something else appears that I haven't seen yet. Right, so the sensor, I think I'm gonna get it for tomorrow. But in the meantime, because I was carrying on getting that battery discharge, and I thought, what the heck's going on here? And at some point I've seen on the tool, I've changed to the Maxi Cs, purely because the other one was nearly running out of battery. Yeah, I was getting that. So anyway, I managed to reset the battery, or to register a new battery in. I haven't yet managed to change the coding for a more powerful battery, because these batteries are 92 amps, the other one was an 80 amp hour. But that should not really affect much. But the thing is, if I turn the car off and I just leave the ignition on, within 20 seconds the ignition shuts off. I get all those warnings for battery discharge, blah blah blah. So what I've decided to do is I've locked the car, so the door is open as if it's locked, and I've locked the car on the remote. Same for the boot. And I came here. Look, that's pretty much. Let me go 2 amps. Let me just do this again, because okay, so let's re-zero it. Okay, right, let's re-zero it. There we go. And now put it there, and I have 0.03. So that's about okay. I'm happy with that. So that's 30 milliamps or so. So 37, yeah, 37 milliamps. That's more than okay. However, since I've connected this about just before I start recording, it went from 12:30 is now 12:25, and it keeps dropping. See, now it's going to go down to 24. This is a brand new battery, guys. It's a brand new battery. And it is a little bit weird that the battery was literally just sat down in there. Obviously the battery might was stored somewhere, but the battery was just there on the floor for about a week. Not really, yeah, about a week. And it went down to 8 volts. Obviously it could be that was already on 8 volts when it came. I don't know. I'm just a little bit. It is a bad brand new battery. Look, it's still going down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock the car. Obviously, unlock it, close the car, lock it, and tomorrow morning we're going to have a look at this. I want to see exactly where we are with this, but this is I'm not very confident with that battery. Not really confident with that battery whatsoever. It should be more than this, definitely. Look, it's still dropping. Still dropping. I think if I unlock the car, that thing is gonna go. Where's the key? Where's the key? Let me see what happens when I unlock the car. Where did I put the battery? Not the battery, the key for this thing. Oh man, what a day. I think it's here. What a day, guys, what a day. Let's gonna look at that. It's still going down. It shouldn't drop this much. Let me unlock the car and see what happens. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Boom. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Let me guess, battery discharge? No. No, remote control battery, blah, blah, blah. Look at that. Look at that. It's impossible for this battery to be good. I only have, oh, come on. 3 amps discharge or 2 amps. It shouldn't do this. 1191. Will it start still? Let me see if it still starts. Because earlier it barely cranked. I think that battery is bad. even though it's a brand new battery. Yeah, that's it. Look, it doesn't start. It's gone. There's no chance. This battery is no good. I know it's brand new, but it can't be good. The car was here running. I had the battery fully charged, and I had the car here idling, running for ages. Look at that. This is just impossible. I'm gonna leave the battery charging all night and see how it goes in the morning, but I'm not too confident. I'm gonna take the battery out. That's what I'm gonna do now. Oh dear. Okay, we'll see how the battery behaves in the morning. The tire is a little bit low. Right, following day. It's gonna get to this battery that's been charging yesterday. Since yesterday, 8 o'clock at night when I put it on charge. It's now about 9:30. So it's been charging for over 12 hours. So it's pulling pretty much no amps. So let's just before I do anything, let me just see. It should still giving the, come on, how am I gonna do this? Maybe like that. Okay, obviously because it's pulling no charge, it's giving 15 volts. We're gonna pull that, take it off. Oh. Okay, so now we're gonna let the battery to rest a tiny bit. Let me actually get that. Where is my other tester? Oh, it might be on the boot. Okay, let me put a tester there just so we can monitor the voltage, let the battery to rest, do a test. But if the battery carry on doing what I was doing yesterday, I will dim this battery as bad. 12 hours charge. To be honest with you, just yesterday after fully charged the battery and had the engine idling, it shouldn't do what it was doing. So where did I put the tester? It should be here somewhere. Yeah, it should be in the boot of the car maybe. There we go. So we're gonna let it to settle. It's still dropping. So I know it's gonna settle, or it should settle somewhere around 12.5 if it's a good battery. 12.5 somewhere there. We'll see where it stops. Okay, still going down. Obviously, it's not gonna hold 13 volts for too long. So let it to rest and give it a good test. So about 10 minutes, 15 minutes later, maybe around there, the battery settled at 12.35. It hasn't moved from 12.35 now for a little bit. So I'm gonna say that's where it's gonna settle. We're gonna do a battery test. Out of the vehicle is a regular battery, and it's 850. And straight away there it tells me replace battery. So yeah, it doesn't look very good. State of health 24. Right, we're gonna put it on the car just as we did yesterday. But yeah, I think this battery is bad. So the battery is in place. I'm not gonna put all the brackets etc. because it's gonna have to come out again. So we're just gonna give it a quick run. See what happens. So what we're going to do is I'm going to turn the ignition on and leave the ignition on just for a little bit. I want to see what happens. We're going to get the so at the moment, actually let me do one thing here just to prevent a little bit. Let's turn the AC off. Let's see the HVAC off. Okay, remote control battery, that's fine, we can sort that later. Okay. And I just want to quickly get the, just because it's easier to see, we just need to clip these on into the battery and have a reading. Look at that. Look at that. Literally, I haven't stopped recording everything was alive each. Look at that. This is a bad battery. Bad battery. Really bad battery. Brand new. Look at that. And let me get the clamp meter, because we only have ignition on. We shouldn't have much more than, I would say, a couple amps of drain from the battery. See, zero it. Come on. 0. Now I need to again. It's gonna have more than a couple amps by the looks of it. I do have 9 amps. 949. That's only a bit though. 9 amps. 9 amps with ignition on. Why not be, well, ignition on, okay. Oh yeah, the lights are on at the front. I forgot about that. He does have day running lights, so. But even then, you've seen the test. Let me see if he starts. Yeah, he did start. Good. If I stop it, will he start again? Battery discharge straight away. That's it. That's it. Look, he did one start. I'm not going to try again. Now this battery is bad. There's no chance. So for now, I already rang the guy. He's going to bring me, well, he's going to exchange that battery with another one. For now, we're going to use this battery. It's a spare battery that I have. That I removed from a Audi TRS, and the guy let me to keep the battery. The battery was starting and stopping the car absolutely fine, but every now and then was coming up with a battery discharge or something like that. So it was just a battery that was getting low. Obviously, it was a few years old battery on the car, but it should be okay. I've been using this battery every now and then. I've used it on the Golf the other day for the DSG. So let's see if he starts. Oh, perfect. And let's gonna do the test we just did with the other battery. Stop the car. Start it. Beautiful. Stop. Start it. So this is what a good battery should sound like, if you will. So we do have an engine light now. We'll have to see what's going on in there. Was coming up with a few codes yesterday after being here idling for a little bit, but the first thing I want to do is obviously fix the issue with the external temperature sensor. The engine ECU is complaining about that sensor as well. Don't know if that is affecting anything else on the engine, but yeah, we're gonna have to fix that first, and afterwards, if we still have any problems, that will make into another video. This video is going to be the saga for the battery. It's going to be the steering controls, and as you've seen, the temperature sensor, which I should get it today at some point, and then we'll wrap up this video. If there's any other issues with this car, we will capture them on a different video. So for now, let's just gonna wait for the battery, for the sensor, and then hopefully finish this job. So, new battery dropped. Let's gonna try this one now. So this should ended up the battery saga, which was not even, I just thought to leave it as a information, if you will. So I do not need to reset the battery again, because I just did it yesterday. The car hasn't left from here, so we can leave that. But we can do now is change the coding for a 95 amp battery. That one is. The other one was an 80 amps. We're going to change the coding for a 95, and also a good thing is that the battery brought me now is a AGM battery, which the initial battery was a lead acid battery. These having start and stop it should be an AGM, so that should be okay. So we'll do that now, and then we'll proceed from there. Here we go. That's the bit we need to change. And there is no 95. That's the closest we do have. So we'll press OK there. We'll change that to that. Yes. There we go. So this bit is done. I'm here now with the ignition on for about, I don't know, a few minutes, and still no warnings for nothing, which is perfect. So, right, so now the only thing left really is the temperature sensor, and that's it. So I have the sensor and the plug, so we're going to install this, and hopefully that will get rid of the codes for the external temperature sensor, which there is pretty much codes everywhere. Interestingly enough, if I go there now, actually I'll be able to show you we are getting some readings, but the readings are wrong. So sometimes we'd go to 50 degrees, sometimes we'd go to 35, was just jumping all over the place. See if I turn just ignition on, gonna see that we have some sort of reading there. Just that to go away. See, 20.5. But that's wrong, and I'm going to show you now when we get there. So sometimes we'll jump to 50, then 40, then 35 on the plus side, and I'm going to show you exactly why that was happening. But obviously that's the wrong temperature anyway, so we'll have to, I will show you exactly what was happening. So basically what is happening, not what was happening, is that the end of the wires, they are here inside this cloth tape, and all of this is wet. So this is just putting some resistance, you see there? It's putting some resistance on these two wires, and that's why it was reading. So if I pull these apart like this, I was a little bit puzzled at the time. I thought, when I saw the first reading there, I thought to myself, what's going on? Do we have a different sensor somewhere? I might need to pull these wires completely out. If you just bear with me for a little bit. Like so. Do you want to bet that now we have minus 40 again? The very first time I saw, because the first time I've seen it was reading like about where it is now, 23 degrees or something like that, and I thought, well, it's a little bit colder than that, but what the hell's going on? And then I saw it jumping all over the place, and I thought, you see now, minus 18 now. Even that is not right, so I need to go back, because I don't know if you've seen just now, I've just seen it now, there's two blue wires. I don't know if that's the correct wiring for these, but yeah, minus 18 now, you see. So you went from plus 20 to minus 18 degrees, and even that's still wrong. So I'm pretty sure these wires have a different or another joint somewhere, and that is not, has not been done right, because can you see here how it goes from these normal tape from the loom to this cloth tape? Do you want to bet there is an see that? That's why I was reading something else there. So we're gonna have to, and it's gonna have something else down here. So someone did this with tape. Look, do you want to bet that this is not insulated, and that's why the moisture is passing from, sorry guys, this is not insulated, and the moisture is just passing through the tape and giving some there we go, you see that? What a shitty job. Who the hell did this? Is this enough to get on here? I think it is. Not perfect, but I think, yeah, we're gonna have to come here and do it from here. Yeah, they are supposed to be two blue wires, but with different stripes. Okay, so all we're going to do, guys, is literally try to fix this. Just try to fix this, and once it's done, then we can wrap up this initial video and move into the next, because I already seen a couple things that need repairing, and I will be able to squeeze, man, that was difficult, to squeeze another couple videos out of this card, I think. So all done with tube shrinking, and because there's really nothing interesting on this video already, it's been a little bit of a mess of things happening. As you can see, this is the tube shrinking with glue inside. I don't know if you can see the glue coming out at the top of the tube shrinking there. So this is the one you want for a place like this. There is two types of tube shrinking, with and without glue. For things like this outside that's going to be exposed to water and environment, make sure you get the one with the glue, because that obviously isolates from water, etc. Now we're gonna just cover this up with tape, put the sensor back in place in there, and put the cover, put the wheel back on, and job done. Okay, so it's all done. Now I put the sensor here. I think the temperature is going to show a little bit wrong, because even though the sensor is down here, there's a little bit of heat coming from the engine, because I have the engine here idling and etc. So, but anyway, we are going to wait. The Maxi says, oh, you already know one of the issues. I'm giving you away some clues. So there is loads of faults. A lot of these faults, guys, actually, can't do the, oh, he's reading the codes. If I show you the report, you're going to see that a lot of these faults are because of that temperature sensor. So we have, the engine is not showing that now, but eventually it would show as well. So there we go, outside temperature sensor, invalid temperature sensor. So yeah, so there's a few faults here. So we are going to turn ignition on. We are going to quick erase this. And once we have this erased, I think that's going to be it for this video, and we're going to wrap up and move into the next issues. Okay, so we shouldn't have nothing. Yeah, that's fine. I think we're only going to have faults on the FEM. That's the only thing, and on the REM. There we go. That's the only two with faults. The engine eventually will come with the thermostat. Same issue as we had on the BMW, on that black BMW that I did not long ago. Video here for it. I don't know if the guy's going to want to fix it or not. We'll have to see that later. But for now we have these two faults, which is where we're going to focus on. Especially the rear one. I'm not sure what's on the front one actually. Oh, is that memory full, isn't it? I don't understand why he's telling me his memory is full. I think I wouldn't bother too much with this. Oh no, power windows. Driver's door system. Oh, that's not a problem. We can get rid of that pretty quick actually. Hold on. We should be able to get rid of this fault. Just really quick. Let's pull it up. There we go. Automatic down. Automatic up. And that fault should have gone now. Just try to get rid of as much faults as possible on this video. So I think we're going to be left with one fault. What? Really? Come on. What's going on with this? What we have now? Incorrect direction, power steering, power window, driver's door, incorrect. What? Power window, driver's door, or rotation. Okay, let me turn actually the car on. Get this thing running. Okay, so down. And now we're gonna go up. Oh. It looks like it didn't save the... Okay, so that's okay now. Okay. Not really sure. Erase codes, yes. Okay. Read codes. What the hell's going on here? The window is definitely working okay. Let me try to do this. Service power window function. Okay, let's gonna do this because... Okay, driver side installation position. What? Okay, let me go through this because there's no point, 5 minutes already. Let me go through this, see if I can get rid of those faults. But the window is definitely working okay in automatic, so I'm not really sure what's going on here. Okay, so I'm not really sure what's going on here with this window. I can't normalize this window for some reason. And now that I've tried a few times, I'm starting to get codes for over temperature, so I might try to do this tomorrow. But to be fair with you, that's the least of my worries. So we have a fault on the rear electronic module, which I think that's going to make into a different video. For this video now, guys, this is all sorted. It's reading 21.5. To be honest with you, the car has been here idling for a little bit. There is temperature going into the front, but the temperature might not be too far out, to be fair with you. And that's it. That's problem fixed, problem solved. And right, a little bit of a weird video, this one, because of the battery. I waste a lot of time on that battery. Brand new battery doesn't always mean it's good. But basically, guys, so that someone messed with this, connected that completely wrong. Easy fixable. Outside temperature, easy fixable. Battery, easy fixable. And a lot of the codes that the car was throwing for, as I said to you at the beginning, guys, for steering and some other stuff, all down to a bad battery, which is all sorted. I drove the car already. I can tell you start and stop is working absolutely perfect, which was one of the things I wanted to see. I could go for another drive and show you, but to be fair with you, I don't really have the room right now. There's a lot of cars behind. And but I already drove the car this afternoon, or early this afternoon, and it's all good, no problems at all. At the moment, there's only one issue. There is only one issue that we need sorting, which is rear electronic module, which I will show you later what it is. There is also the fault on the engine, which is not showing at the moment, but if I'm sure that if I do go straight to control module, I do have the fault for that electronic thermostat, which does not cause any engine lights or anything like that, but I'll have to ask the guy if he wants to do anything with this. There we go. And that's the only issue. It's going to be most likely a bad thermostat, but that's it. So let's kind of move into the other issue, because that one really needs sorting. And that's it for this one. Really weird video, I think. I don't even know how it's going to look once I join all the clips together, but that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something. Maybe you did, probably you didn't. If you do still have any questions or any comments, guys, you know exactly how it works. Just put them right below. And like always, thanks for watching.